Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, it's Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero along with your other host.
Totally not Godzilla. Hi everybody, I'm new. I'm filling in for my good friend Tristan. I'm here.
Wait.
Did you don't mind the floppy lizard suit? It's my skin. It's me. It's real. I'm here. I mean, I killed Tristan and I took his movie. What?
I don't know. I think this guy checks out. So today we're talking about a little movie. Some of you may have heard of it. Some of you may not have. I appreciate those who have not. A movie called Godzilla came out. Not the one that you liked. The other one.
The other one. Wait, what other one, Matt? Exactly.
Yeah, so we're talking about Godzilla 1998. Tristan, do you remember where you were when you saw this movie for the first time?
In the theater with my parents because I was like 8.
Really? It was in the theater? You saw it in theater?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because I did not see it in the theater.
Probably
okay, so yeah. So what were your parents' reactions coming out of this? Because remember, let's, for context here for this episode of Friday Night Movies, let's remind everybody that Tristan's dad has been a fan of Godzilla since, I assume, since it originally came out in the U.S. Obviously we're talking about the U.S. version here. Your dad's not Japanese, doesn't really go to Japan, because your dad never went to Japan, right?
No.
No, so he's getting all of his Godzilla goodness from...
Sorry. I'm sorry. My parents did go to Japan. They honeymooned in Japan. I'm a moron.
Well, no. But, it's a bit different than saying, he studied abroad or something, so, he picked up Godzilla there. No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So, yeah.
He went... Godzilla as a kid, so that's how I got into it, too. So, when this rolled around, my dad was like, all right, I'll bite. And we did, and he was like, meh.
Only meh?
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of that kind of movie. It doesn't make you care enough about it to hate it.
Okay, so I'm happy you feel similar to me, because here's how I feel about it, right? It doesn't live up to its hype. And the hype is bad hype, but it's still hype nonetheless. And to me, it doesn't live up to that. It seems as if it is a painfully average movie that takes all of these action movie tropes, especially the action movies that have that romantic drama thrown in there, and it takes all of them that even by 98 people were thinking, all right, this is cliche, this has been done before. Yes. And for some reason they just put them all together in a way where if maybe the budget was less, or if they had used maybe actual either animatronics or potentially people in suits, it would have come off as a tongue-in-cheek B movie. But because to me they were trying to not go in that direction, that's just my take. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like they were trying to go for something a bit different. A bit, not different, but a bit more, a bit different than, some B-movie stuff. It came off as, no, we're being very serious here. This is a very serious movie that's serious.
Right.
What do you mean?
This is a serious action film. We even have the quirky one-liners from the hero dude, who's not your usual main character action hero guy, which is
I'll say...
Also, what?
That's the interesting thing. So that's the one. Look, we're not just going to shit on this for 2 full hours. We might go a little bit extra, but might go a little bit longer. Yeah. But no, there were some redeeming qualities.
Matthew Broderick, because I love the guy.
Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria really did a great job in this movie. And, of course, Matthew Broderick being the main character, who's the problem is that, so the good thing, he's trying to be this character who I think isn't your typical, Schwarzenegger, your typical Stallone, and I like that. The problem is that the way that they had written it, they're trying to write it so that everyone can relate. And look, I get it in the sense that you don't want to confuse the audience, but you can't have the guy who's supposed to be your main quote-unquote science guy. Granted, it's not completely his field, but still, this guy who's supposed to be smarter than your average bear, and he's sitting there like, what am I standing in? Is it a giant paw? It's like, motherfucker, you do this for a living, apparently.
Well, I mean,
could you have not seen it from the helicopter?
That's fair.
Like, I'm just trying to say that, like, it was not, this film was done in a way that was trying to be so surface level, but doing it in a way where you even said at some points, you were like, you texted me, you were like, are they serious? Because they're trying to make it, look, I understand don't do technobabble, I get it, right? But at a certain point, it's like, all right, guys, come the fuck on. Like, it produces asexually. All right, even if you don't know what asexuality is in that regard in the animal kingdom, when they just say that, you go, okay, that's what that is. But it seemed like people were like, asexually. Like, look, I'm not saying like I'm this dude who like, look, I was trying to be an English major. I'm not trying to claim in any way that science is my forte. But I don't know what audience it was trying to appeal to, because it's like, is it trying to appeal to everybody? If so, you do learn that in middle school. Like what?
No, I don't know either.
Because apparently there were kids that were into it, like you were into it as a child.
Yeah, I was.
You know, it's interesting. Some people, no, but it's so funny because some people are like, yeah, man, when I was in high school, I was really like, I was into drugs and I had to get off of it. And thankfully I'm better now. Like, I don't do that anymore, but I still face some issues with it today. And you, Mr. Straight Edge, is like, I enjoyed Godzilla when I was a child. And it's like,
I come back now. I am sorry. I'm here to make a public apology. Please understand.
You're just reading a note that you've written. I would like to apologize to all the people I've hurt.
Basically.
But all jokes aside, though, the thing is that, like, you know, it is funny, though, just aside, because it's not even a joke, it's just being serious. Like, you didn't drink in high school, you didn't do drugs in high school. So for you, this is something that, like, it sounds super nerdy, but for you, it actually, like, it's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like, you know, it feels like a terrible, terrible black mark on my Godzilla, you know, card. I feel like they're going to take away my Godzilla card.
I mean, you were a child.
I was actually, yeah. When I think about it, I was 6. I was 6 years old.
Yeah. No, I saw it. I saw it as well when I was either 6 or 7. So my stepmom, she worked at a company at the time. I don't know. It was probably some big bank that might have merged throughout the years. But at some point, it was a big bank, and it was like a Santa Claus, it was like a Santa Day or something, but I could swear to God it was like in late November, so I was super confused. I was like, why the fuck is Santa showing up right now? And so because it wasn't in, I could swear to God it wasn't in December or something, it was like late November, and we had seen it either, I don't remember if she told me that it was like a screening, as in, like, they got this movie, but the general public didn't, or, like, the general public did, but either way I was still able to see it, and it was cool, because I saw it in a boardroom-type setting, because it was in, like, with other kids, and I just remember wanting to enjoy it, but not enjoying it.
Right.
And you know what'll do that to a kid, Tristan? Having scenes with, maybe I'm wrong here, maybe the original version had them, but the version on Netflix that you and I watched did not have them. Having scenes in alternate, different languages with no English subtitles.
Yeah, that was weird too. Forgot
what
about that.
What the fuck? I mean, look, as an adult, I know the basics of everything they said because it was so, again, something else at service level. The Japanese and French, the Japanese and French that they used, I'm like, oh, I understand everything that's going on right now. Even though I don't know French, and I've seen a lot of Japanese stuff, but still, like, everything that was in Japanese was like, hurry, you know? quickly, like we're in, danger, or like stuff like, because I don't have the audio on as we're watching it, because I have it on in the background, but I don't have the audio on. So like little stuff like that. And then the French was like, oh, you didn't get me a croissant, which in my head I was like, man, I'm sure that French guy loved. He was sitting there, he's like, it's a paycheck, it's a paycheck, it's a paycheck.
Yeah.
But because really, I'm not saying the French don't actually like croissants, but it would be like if a Chinese person was like, can I get some Chinese food? I'd be like,
yeah, right.
I'm so sorry you had to say that on screen right now. But anyway, so,
this was bad, outdated tropes, the movie. And, oh my God, I didn't realize that until now, because it's probably been
it's
that
literally
long
been,
since I watched this last.
I mean, dude, it's been 21 years.
No, I know. That's the thing. Watching this again now and being, conscious of it all, it felt like stepping into a time capsule. And it wasn't a good feeling.
Well, because the problem is that, if this was something that, if this was something that even at the time works, I'd go, hey, man, that's just how, you and I have seen some movies that we've gone, hey, now, here's a good one, even though this was a good movie, Mad Max, right? There is stuff from Mad Max that now looking at it, to me, when looking at the first three, it doesn't seem revolutionary, but you still have to look at it within the confines and the context of its time and what it did then. Yeah. But something like this movie, because it came out in 98 and not 88, it just seems like, it's just a collection of things that have already been done before, and when looking at this movie, done better.
Right.
And again, it's just a few things here, and not even a few things, but it's just certain things here and there that I don't want to sound like a stickler on, but it just comes up over and over and over when you're sitting there and you're like, wait, why is Matthew Broderick's character, supposed to be the smart guy, but yet he's the one who's just like, wait a minute, are you telling me, motherfucker, what? And then also the differences in some of the themes, because when I'm watching this movie, when Broderick's character says he's just an animal trying to get some food, I'm like, good, thank you. And we still have the U.S. military being like, oh, so it bleeds, excellent. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Look, I get it. I'm not saying the military wouldn't do that. I'm not saying that you could feasibly do a plan to get it off of the island without it maybe seeming a bit weird and potentially, more money on different locations to film. Look, I get it. But it's just odd that we're supposed to feel sympathy for the monster, and yet we're not supposed to hate the military.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Are we supposed to go, rah, 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 America? Hell yeah. Because I don't know if you know this, Tristan. This came out during Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
So that's when you would have seen it in theaters if you guys went, weekend one.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah. So it came out Memorial Day weekend. So we're all supposed to be like, America, America will fucking kill your ass. We're supposed to be, patriotic about it. But then we see the monster.
You see the end of the movie, it's like, Godzilla defeated, everyone clap. Do it.
Yeah, no, it felt like a situation where it was like, I don't think you're clapping hard enough. So but the thing is, in the middle of the movie, when Broderick brings up that point, I thought it was one that we're all supposed to nod and go, hell yeah, he's right, and it was immediately scoffed away, just kind of tossed away, who fucking cares about him? Right. And also, by the way, could I mention the subplot, the romantic subplot? Tristan, if it was better, I would tell you, Tristan, stop it. Stop your moaning. Stop your whining. All right. Sometimes romance happens. Yeah, I would have gone up in your face about it. But Tristan, I don't know why we're really going back to the 90s. I'm about to stone cold stunner you. But here's the thing, Tristan. They made this woman's character, the woman who she's working as a reporter. How could you make her character so unlikable? And then
yeah.
Look, I'm not saying that. Look, hear me out, right? I want everyone to hear me out. People can be redeemed, but holy shit, how the fuck do you do that? And then in an hour, be like, we're good, right? No.
Right.
Like, I would have, if we, look, this is what I would have done. This is how mad I would have been if she stole my tape and then caused me to get kicked off of a military operation, potentially putting aside the fact, because here's the thing, it's a secret thing. So, like, it's not like he would have been able to write a book about it. They would have killed him and his family.
Yeah.
So, like, he can't talk about this publicly. But you could still at least get some type of connections, maybe get further, like maybe even a grant of some type one day. Like, you could definitely further your career in the shadows, but further your career. And she got him taken off of it, and he looked like he was a leaker from it.
Right, exactly.
I would have married her, but gotten a prenup, and I would have divorced her. I would have meticulously written the prenup. I would have written my vows, angry, angry vows, and then I would have divorced her. Do you understand the type of anger it takes to marry someone under the guise of divorce? But because Tristan, very, yes, thank you. That was the correct answer. We were looking for very or Jesus, Matt. We were looking for one of those two answers.
That too.
What? No, but like really though, I'm being serious here. How the hell can she come? Because look, you want to say, hey Matt, you know, like she said at the beginning of the movie, 8 years ago, she left him, which again, already in my opinion is disqualifying. Like, you can be my friend, but like, why the fuck would we ever date again? You left me when I proposed to you after we dated for 4 years. It's not like he jumped on the first opportunity in like 6 months. Then I'd be like, yo, girl, you should probably leave. He's a little weird. 4 years. And then she ran without calling him or anything. And that was 8 years ago. So he wasted 4 years of his life. Then she leaves. Then they finally get back in touch. And then she's like, well, sometimes people change in 8 years. And his point, I'm like, all right, listen, I don't agree with his point. Sometimes they don't. It's like, all right, stop. People can change. But that don't mean that you get into bed together. Like, just because they change, it's like, all right, and I hope you've, like, I don't know, like you mentioned this actually, Tristan. You mentioned that some of these characters didn't sound like real people. And it's not even due to their acting.
Yeah.
It's just due to the lines that they were given.
Yeah. Everyone sounds like they're playing a movie character. Like, they're not actually being a real person. They're like, like each of them it feels like they're playing the movie role. Like, they were told, speak like you would think you would if you were in a movie. It's like, that's not...
Yeah, and it's hard to explain because it's hard for me to even grasp that, even though I'm not saying you're wrong, only because everyone in every movie is in a movie. But there is something specific about, I love that quote, everyone who dies is dead or something. What was that anime line? People die when they are dead. Do you remember that one? Yeah. But still, no, but the thing is that it's just, there's something about the way that they speak to each other that just does not, it just seems devoid of what people would actually say to each other, like that thought. Like, if I saw her after that long, even if I was still into her, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but my first thought would be, so, you look like you've been working out. And she'd be like, oh, yeah, I've been working out a little bit. Oh, good, like running from other people? Like you did me? Because you really look like you're good at jogging away from all of your... Like, I would have at least given her a slight piece in my mind before being like, all right, now we're cool, what's up? But he literally looked at her like she didn't do all of that. Like, even, look, I'm not saying he has to, like, you know, go German suplex or something like that. I'm just saying that when she does all of that to you, he just seemed mildly annoyed.
Yeah.
And you could say that that's on Broderick, but apparently the director, I think it was either the director or the writer, said that they did not do reshoots. They actually kind of rushed the filming schedule to try to get out, just because the producers were like, hey, we need to get this out by Memorial Day. So to try and get it out
Yeah.
by that day, apparently things were sped up more than they should have been. If so, makes sense. Because, again, just some of a little bit of delivery, but, again, a bit more of what they were saying to each other. Like, even the line, even though I thought it was funny, where's the fun in that, was just like, all right, like, I get it, but we're all, not like we're all adults here, because I'm not saying that adults can't have, like, crude humor like that, but it was just a very strange movie. Very bland in certain parts with the lines, and then other parts just very, what's it called, very, not even sexual, but just very out there. Like either the most boring person would say this or nobody would say this.
Right.
Also,
yeah, it's those lines. Like some of those lines are like, no one would actually say that in that situation, right?
Also, the French spy. Look, I'm not saying that we don't have French spies in this country. In fact, someone on the podcast right now might be a French spy. But the thing is, Tristan, I'm gunning for me. I don't know it, but I'm probably a sleeper. Anyway, the thing is this, Tristan. The fact that the guy can only do I know it was a comedy, it was a gag, but the guy, and I thought it was funny, but even then, I still have to take myself out of it for 5 seconds and sit back and go, so the spy can't do an American accent unless it's only because of Presley, not that they gave him like a fucking 30 to 50 day training course on how to speak Merkin. Really? Just to try to blend in? You could really? You couldn't? Not even a little? And granted, it was kind of funny because Broderick was like, yeah, he can't do the accent, and then he did, and it was like, what? And it was like, Elvis Presley, he was the king. And again, funny, but still like, but really though, can he not do an accent unless it's about Presley? Because like, look, again, I'm not a spy, as far as I know, but how would you not be teaching your spies how to speak with an American accent when you're going to New York? I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, it was just odd. Also, by the way, another thing that you mentioned to me, the fact that the French are the ones that tested the nukes, as if America just washed their hands clean. Oh, nuking? We've never nuked a thing. What? Nukes?
I'm here to fix the terrible mistake my country has made. Yeah, because I'm sure multiple other countries didn't make that same terrible mistake. Sure. But we're here to clean up Godzilla.
There should have been fucking 5 insurance agencies from each and every fucking country.
Yeah, right? You'd think there would have been a representative from, like, every other country, like, all right, so we may have a problem. Look at this video. Oh, shit. we need to get our shit together on this.
I am from an insurance agency. You? Well, I am also from an insurance agency. Also, that Japanese man over there is from an insurance agency.
Also, that British man over there is from an insurance agency.
Ah, were you talking about the insurance agency that I'm from? Because I am also from an insurance agency.
We are all, and then the American representative, we are all from insurance agencies.
No, I don't know. The Japanese
honestly,
and the German man actually are from the same. They're from different insurance agencies, but owned by the same branch. Are they called the Axis Insurance? What the fuck?
Oh,
anyway,
God.
Look, I'm just saying, Trish.
Like,
it's just
no.
But really though, why would you have the French guy? I mean, look, I'm not. Believe me, I'll say this much: it did one thing that America has never ever done to the French. Made him look and them look badass. Like, oh, we fucking take care of our mistakes. And I'm like, oh shit, all right. No, because you know that in pop culture people make fun of the French all the time.
I know, yeah.
Like, they make fun of the French all the time.
Yeah, just some insurance guy. Damn it.
What do you say about my tape?
He just walks back up. Yeah, he just walks back up. All right, look, I know I was deleting our identities from the tape because we're spies, but my men died in there. Like, fuck you. At least you could remember me. You know what? I'm taking back that I called you my friend. You can go fuck yourself.
Yo, that's another thing, too. Why would he call him his friend? I was like, I mean, he helped him out, to be fair. They went through a big traumatic experience together. But, like,
yeah.
No, it was just, again, the whole movie is just so odd in a way because it's on the cusp of being the worst movie ever, and then there's little things that kind of pull it out of that.
Yeah, because that was the piece. Wow, can't speak. What I wanted to ask you about. Do you was this CGI good for the time? Because that's what I was wondering.
Here's the thing too. I would like to add, Tristan. You saw the Netflix version, right?
Yeah.
Here's what you need to do before either of us, and you can't do this now, obviously, but in general, you need to do this eventually. Watch your VHS tape copy of it on the small TV in your living room.
Right.
Because
I feel like it didn't stand out as much back then, but then again, I wasn't really looking for it. I'd have to go back.
Well,
I do have the VHS.
the little tiny raptor-esque ones, to me, stood out way too much. But Zilla himself did not, in my opinion.
Right.
At least towards the nighttime. When he's trying to crush real-life things, because apparently those were real things that they rigged to break as if Godzilla was stepping on them. Right. So when he was, that to me looked weird. Like when he almost stepped on Hank Azaria, I was like, oh, fuck. But that looked weird. But later on in the movie time, I think he blended in really well, and his eyes did freak me out. Like when the military looked directly into his eyes. Not during that one scene when they were like, all right, there's nothing here. No, when they were all on, it looked like they were in the middle of Central Park, and they were just staring at it, and they all had their guns on it, and they just looked directly into his eyes. I was like, ooh, creepy. But so when it comes to the CGI, the reason why I say that, though, Tristan, is while you did see it in a theater, and yes, the theater was quite large, I assume that his screen was large, really, this was still a time where, yes, DVD was starting to, I think a year or two later, it came out on DVD.
Yeah.
So, it's not as if DVD didn't exist or wasn't on the cusp of, becoming more mainstream. But at the same time, this was still a time when VHS tapes existed and when TVs were, in my mind anyway, thought to be much smaller, like the one in your living room. Or, I had a bigger one in my living room, but it still wasn't huge like the one I currently have right now. So when we see Godzilla in a quality that I could argue is maybe not Blu-ray, but it's still pretty damn good on such a large TV. You saw it on your computer monitor, which it is smaller, to be fair, so that's also a good thing as well. But yeah, seeing it on a bigger television will definitely make it stand out to you more, especially depending on how the CG is handled when you're making the Blu-ray or the better quality version. So in other words, if they upscaled or if they worked on the CG separately again for the Blu-ray, it might look better. Think of every Star Wars movie, basically, right? Think of it like that. No, you have to think of it like that, right? Because when it gets remastered, either you don't mess with any of the effects or you do, and depending on how you mess, or even Star Trek. Think of the ship. Think of oh God, how could I forget the name of the Enterprise? The Enterprise in Star Trek, the newer versions on Netflix, they actually updated the special effects. So I don't like them necessarily, but they do technically, arguably look better, right? So I don't know how Godzilla was handled when they put this out, like this version, which clearly, obviously, is not a VHS from '98,
Right.
Like, the quality in this looked better. In terms of the general, it looks like it isn't, like something was upscaled, you know what I'm saying? Like the cameras were, not the cameras, but the general video quality looks better than it was shot in like '98. Am I making sense when I say that? Yeah. Yeah. But, so I think you could argue this was the best they could do at the time. At the time.
Right. That's the thing. I'll talk about the one-liners and just how the characters were written all I want, but I'm not gonna shit on the CG and stuff like that, even Godzilla's design, it was still kind of cool.
Yeah, I think
really Godzilla, but
no, yeah, I don't have a problem with Godzilla's design necessarily. I mean, I think the problem is that when looking at Godzilla, some people had a problem. Even the original creators in Japan, or some of the original people working on it in Japan, had a problem with him being more like an animal necessarily. But I don't have a problem with that so long as the motivations are, or at least some of the way that he acts are more like an animal. And I think the problem is
right.
that, again, just like other parts of this movie, they made it very surface level. So so you and I were talking about some of the work put into Godzilla 2014 and the way they tried to make him look more like he was an actual predator, and how there was a sense of dominance, like this is my territory, but not necessarily, but also an idea of, I guess, a bit like King Kong, I am still protecting the inhabitants. But in this case, they made it very much like a mixture between, Animal and Jurassic Park, where it was, I'm taking over this territory. This is now my new dominion, and then also mixed in with, not only is this my new dominion, but I need to lay eggs, and I'm just looking for food. And then you saw the fucking cans of, like, tuna and sardine everywhere, which I'm not too sure if lizards actually eat that, but okay. So to me, that's the issue with it. Again, very surface level. Like, well, it's trying to have its eggs and protect its babies, just like any animal. And again, like I mentioned earlier, instead of it being something that we should commend, like it is just an animal. What do you do to animals? Maybe you cage them. Maybe you try to calm them down. But it is an animal.
Yeah.
But they were just like, it is an animal, and like animals, we must make it extinct.
Basically.
I don't know if
that's what I felt like they were trying to go with Broderick's character. Like, looking at it, it's like, well, technically we've created this animal, through our own means, with radiation and that kind of thing. It's just trying to live its life and, keep its species going. Unfortunately, the fact is it's nesting in Manhattan, and it is the size of a skyscraper.
By the way, speaking of its size, people have commented that it's very small for Godzilla. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that would depend on which Godzilla that you mean, too.
Well, okay, so at the time, 98, what Godzilla do you think they were referring to? Like Gogeta, like the original, or?
It's funny because they make that, like, that was the one-liner that I was kind of okay with.
Right.
I remember. I remember you laughing, you would find that funny.
The news, which I also found funny. The newscaster, the one who was a piece of shit, who I enjoyed how much of a piece of shit he was because we can point at him and go, piece of shit. So he
kind of said he didn't get eaten. That would have been nice.
Either eaten or arrested or something. I don't know. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But still, he when he specifically said the phrase Godzilla. And then the reporter, he said, "It's Gogeta, you moron." Which is just it's funny because I don't hate that, that joke. It's just the thing where but you guys named the movie Godzilla, so it sounds like you're just calling the Americans the morons, which I'm not saying, what it is too? I'm not saying that people who are watching aren't going to be fans of the original Godzilla, because no shit they are, but I don't think they would be calling it Gogeta. And look, I don't know the forums from 98. Maybe I'm the one who's the baka, all right? I'm just saying, guys, I feel like unless we're talking about the 1954 version, we're not calling him or the movie Gogeta.
Right.
Unless, again, we're talking about the original, right? So, when you're talking about the 1955 version, you're not going to be like, oh, yes, the American Gogeta. You might, in my opinion, you're saying, oh, yeah, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Wasn't as good, maybe, right? Maybe that's your thoughts. But, you wouldn't say it's the American Gogeta. The same way that no one calls this the American Gogeta, they call it, a piece of shit, like everyone would. No, actually, there was some I don't know why I'm getting all, I feel like I'm becoming younger again just talking to you about this. Because did you know, okay, so there are two names for Godzilla. One canon that I know you know, but I don't know if you know the reasons for it. And another that was not a canon name. It was actually by a blogger at the time who was a huge Godzilla fan. So, do you want to hear both names?
Sure.
We'll start with the one that's canon, which is Zilla. The reason why he was called Zilla by someone who used to work on Godzilla movies at Toho was because they believed that the American version took the god out of Godzilla. Hurt me. So,
gonna need a burn heal for that one.
That was one. Two, I don't know which one is worse, though. I feel like this is a King Kong versus Godzilla situation. The other one, the blogger named this monster Gino. Godzilla in name only. That was an acronym for Godzilla in name only.
Whew.
It just feels like Gino versus Zilla up in this. I'm just saying.
Right.
Ooh, it hurts. God, it hurts so good. So, yeah, I don't know which one's better. I want to say Gino, but I mean Zilla has been in my mind for so many years now that I feel like Zilla just wins.
Right.
So anyway, yeah. So that's that. But at the same time, but I was asking you before about the height of Godzilla because, like, do you think Godzilla should have been larger, or do you think that they were just fine making him that size?
I mean, I think it was fine making him that size in the sense that they kind of went with the idea that this one is a bit more agile. Whereas, like, you think traditional Godzilla, he's not going to be dodging in and out of skyscrapers and digging through tunnels and hiding from helicopters. No, he's just going to atomic blast it and say, fuck you.
By the way,
this one was actually, like, setting ambushes and stuff and, like, using its size and ability to hide between the buildings to its advantage when it was being pursued, which I thought was interesting. That's the thing.
It's funny.
Like, I feel like if granted it's a giant lizard, people would have been like, it's a Godzilla ripoff anyway, but, like, if you actually made it a different monster, it might not have been a bad idea.
You know, this might have worked well if it was one of those bad sci-fi movies, because depending on how they played it, people could have been entertained.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking of that too. If they went a little more ham on some things, it probably would have been, like, funny.
Yeah. By the way, so mentioning something about, you mentioned his tactics. I hated, though, even though they did all that, which sounds great, then all of a sudden it's like, put the high beams on it. And it's like, we've outwitted it. And it's like, I know, like, it's not supposed to know necessarily, but, like, come on. Come on. I was already hit with the high beams a second ago. Come on.
Or, like, when they set up the trap the second time, it's like, oh, lure it in again with the fish, but this time, don't try and blow it up until it's out in the open. I love how it's looking at him like, all right, I see what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to have to take a hard pass.
Yeah. Question, do you think this Godzilla, because I know, like, you have some opinions on Godzilla versus King Kong. Do you think this is a Godzilla who would not be able to easily dispose of Kong?
Now that would be a much closer fight.
In your mind?
In my mind, if these two went up against each other, that's a level playing field.
All right. I don't disagree with the fact that this is it's funny. I do believe this is a much more level playing field only due to their sizes. Because they both are around the same size. Like, Kong would be similar in size, I believe, to this Godzilla.
I mean, this one, its breath is like a flamethrower, which it used, like, twice. Which was interesting, but very lackluster.
They show that they do show that missiles can work against it over time.
Right. That was the other thing too. It's like this one is much easier to actually damage. Which, I guess they kind of had to, because what else are you going to do to it?
I mean, like, that's the
if
thing.
If you want to, kill it by the end of the movie.
I think with certain themes in this movie, I really don't know why we could not have gone the pacifist route. And believe me, look, I'm not saying that I'm against what happened in the original Godzilla movie. I'm just saying that, like, 40 years had passed since that movie, like, in our world, 40 years. So, like, at this point, when you're saying, I don't know, with some of the themes in the movie, it just felt like if it would have been smarter to end it on a more pacifist route of, let's give it its own island. It wants an island. It wants it wants its babies to have a good life.
I feel like, instead of, leading it into the, open in, like, in Central Park to then blow it up, why not lead it back out into the ocean? Like, obviously it'll follow the fish. Like, it'll follow for food. Why not do that?
No. It's protective of its babies. So in other words,
its nest is there already, but I mean, like, if you could, I don't know.
Evacuate. You have a world where, here's the thing. If you have a world where this thing already exists, I feel like there is a way. Granted, you probably would have to have done something like in 2014 Godzilla, where someone's like, I've been tracking this thing, and and we have the ability to lift all of its babies out of New York. And what will it do? It will follow its babies to a new island. And what do we do then? Leave it the fuck alone. Nuke it, you say? No. Leave it the fuck alone.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying that was the best. That would be the best to bring up another organization or something. But, like, it was just odd that we went the same route that we always do of kill it with the utmost of fire.
Right. Yeah.
Also, odd question. Very odd question. So there were people were talking about in the movie, we have to evacuate New York. Now, is it just me, or did they was New York for some reason a one-to-one, not even a synonym, just in place of the word Manhattan?
Yeah.
Like, did they ever talk about actually, like,
it felt like
evacuating?
It was interchangeable.
Okay, because I'm wondering, because I don't remember them saying, like, we've evacuated, like, all of New York, like, or what if it moves elsewhere? We'll evacuate Queens. Like, I know they wouldn't say Queens by name, but I'm sitting here and I'm like,
right.
All right, so I'm in Queens, and I have some friends who are in upstate. Like, are they evacuating people in Buffalo or no? Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Like, where are we evacuating people to?
But Matt, like, come on, Matt. New York is literally just New York City and nothing else. I don't actually exist, and neither do you. We're just a figment of everyone's imagination walking about.
Why would our lives not be better? What the fuck is wrong with people's imaginations?
Because, Matt, it has to be a believable simulation. Ah, shit.
Believable? That's so silly. We're not a simulation. Oh, by the way, the French guy wanting to drink French roast, I'm like, funny joke, but again, you could see it in his eyes. He's like, it's a paycheck, it's a paycheck, it's a paycheck. I don't know what the word paycheck is in French, but I'm pretty sure he was saying it over and over during those comedic skits before they showed off that he actually had a purpose.
Right.
Also, is it just me, Tristan? You're a guy who goes to different dig sites. You don't work with radiation, but you seem like a guy who kind of has some knowledge compared to little old me. When they tell a guy...
Depends on what knowledge you're asking about, but sure.
When they tell a guy, take a sample, it's motherfucking irradiated. Don't trip in the dirt, because if you get your balls in it, your kids won't exist. Tristan, why is he not going to be in a fucking hazmat suit?
Or anyone else in that footprint, for that matter.
Who, by the way, all of those, literally, everyone in that, every single member of the military, maybe they should trip and get their junk on the fucking irradiated soil. Maybe they'll have Captain America babies. Like,
yeah. I'm
just saying, like, literally, and look, here's the thing too, everybody. You're going to call me a stickler. But again, this isn't the 50s, this isn't the 60s, this isn't the 70s. This movie came out in 1998.
Yeah.
putting Chernobyl aside, because I'm pretty sure, depending on who you ask, Chernobyl is still bad, but it's only bad if you're there for a prolonged period of time now, although maybe I'm the one that's wrong there.
I think it's certain areas, but yeah. Like, depending on how far in you go, there are areas where it's like, it's not incredibly dangerous if you're there for a little bit, but
and of course,
you definitely still shouldn't be there.
Yes, but Broderick's character was there for a little bit, so, like, I will give Chernobyl a pass. But to be in a newly irradiated spot where they're like, take some samples of radiation.
Right.
Are you fucking serious? Again, I want everyone to remember, I'm not a scientist. I'm nowhere close. Sometimes I don't even microwave things right. But it's just the fact that I'm sitting here watching this and I'm like, you just said it's irradiated. This movie came out, yes, it came out 21 years ago, but we weren't fucking cavemen 21 years ago. Like,
right,
I feel as if anyone watching, and maybe I'm wrong on who anyone is, but when you hear the words radiation, even 21 years ago, I feel like, I feel like 21 years ago, people watching it, no matter where you are in the U.S., are like, ain't that the shit that made the Hulk? Like, should he not be in that? Like, even the people who are like, doesn't that, like, hurt? Doesn't that either make you a superhero or give you cancer, depending on what book you're reading? Like, is he just standing there? And that's the thing, and look, I get it. You want to show Matthew Broderick's beautiful face. Look, as a fellow Matthew, I understand, right? Matthews generally have very beautiful faces. But how about maybe you put him in a fucking hazmat suit? I don't know. And that's the big difference for me with this version versus the 2014 version. I'm not saying everything is quote-unquote realistic because, let's all remember, Godzilla exists. But you had them in hazmat suits, and then Cranston, to be fair, who I think was being an idiot about it, but still took it off. It was like, Dad, no. And he's like, I told you it was a conspiracy. Take it off, kid. And then the kid takes it off, and he's like, oh, shit. It actually was. Fuck. So that's the thing. Like, they covered it up as like but you don't have that much nuclear issues around you and just be like, I'm just gonna walk in and be just fine.
Right.
Just, plain old, no suit or anything.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think with the budget that they threw in for the CGI and everything else, they would have had enough to put people in hazmat suits in that scene.
No, but it's not about, that's the thing, it's not about buying the suits. It's about, in every sense of the word, being surface level, or in every situation, rather, in this movie, being very surface level, so that if you have even a little bit of knowledge in certain areas, you're like, no. And believe me, look, like, we can still enjoy some movies and have some suspension of disbelief. So, like, I totally get that, like, hey, Godzilla exists, so, like, you can suspend other things. But, like, I suspend, like, so here's what I'll suspend, right? Oh, Godzilla exists, so I'm going to assume that the creatures themselves, even you being around them, doesn't mean that you, like, get cancer or something, like, due to radiation. Like, again, I have to suspend my disbelief. Okay. Or the fact that these little raptor-type Godzilla creatures aren't immediately going to be able to gnaw you to death the second the elevator door opens. And you say, wrong floor. And although I will admit, if any of them could talk, I feel like they would say, is he going for shtick right now? As the doors close.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, I think one of them was munching on popcorn. So I got to be real.
Yes,
that's a feeling right there.
I'm pretty sure that was even used as like the trailer for it when it was coming out. It was just like.
Of course it was.
Or like, you have to go see this in the theater, and it was just like them walking out of the room with the popcorn spilling out behind them. And I was like, even as a kid, I'm like, that was funny. Now I'm like, yeah. It's funny, but like, oh no.
Yeah, no. It was funny. I'm not saying it wasn't funny. I'm just saying that, like, those are things that I can say, hey, you know what, suspension of disbelief, okay. But there are just too many things here that I'm like, all right, guys, after a while it just feels as if I'm really not supposed to think. And sometimes I will admit I do feel bad, like I get so sucked into a movie. I'm like, no, I have to think about that a little bit more. Let me not, like, just get absorbed into it or something. But in this movie, it truly felt as if I was just not supposed to think. Thinking is bad for this movie.
Basically.
Yeah. Also, did you feel really weird about the army guy, not the general, the other army guy, who I feel like I was supposed to connect to and enjoy him and like him, but we saw so little of him that, like, I'm happy he survived, but they didn't give me a reason to care about him. Like, at least I had a reason to care about Broderick's character. Like, he was in most of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, even whatever you think about Broderick's character alongside his romantic subplot bullshit, at least there was a reason to care, even if it was a reason to hate. That's still caring, just in the opposite direction. Yeah. So it's much different than that army guy who, like, kept on making good decisions, but we only saw him in army type situations. It was weird. Like, we didn't see him. We barely saw him in other situations, and then, like, maybe he'd be bartering a small deal, but I don't know. It felt like I was sitting there.
It was funny. He was kind of painted as, like, the lackey, but, like, he was, like, doing his job, but still kind of fucking up, but none of it was really his fault because how you combat a giant lizard, like, we don't have protocol for this shit.
Oh, can I say one thing that I enjoyed a lot?
Or maybe we do. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
Yeah.
When they in any scene when they are looking at Godzilla as if it's like a theme park ride, like an attraction. No, I liked it. Like when they're in the helicopters and they're looking at him through the windows, and it kind of looks like you're riding along, like on a theme park, kind of like the King Kong confrontation thing. And I'm like, honestly, I liked that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even in the car, I was like, you know what? I like it. It was just
it's funny. The car chase at the end in the taxi cab was probably my favorite part as a kid.
I can see why.
Yeah, like that was just kind of fun. It's funny, like you were like, why is this like? Why did this suddenly turn into Jurassic Park? And I'm like, Matt, how dare you? And you're like, tell me it's not. And as I'm watching the babies hatch out and then them running away in a taxi cab, I'm like, oh, fuck, he's right.
No, yeah, because you hadn't gotten back to that, because you've seen this movie like once when you were a kid, never again, and then
I watched it on VHS like once or twice, but I did not remember it well.
Yeah, the only time I've seen this movie again, in my mind, maybe I'm wrong, but in my mind, since I first saw it that one time, was in that boardroom, in that dark boardroom, where my stepmom asked me, so did you like it? And I said, yeah, in the most unconvincing that I've ever said in my life. So in that, other than then, I had seen it. There was like a Christmas marathon this past Christmas, and there was a bunch of Godzilla. It was like a kaiju marathon on the El Rey network, and all they showed was Godzilla movies. I think it was all weekend long or something. It might have been New Year's actually. And sadly, they showed this movie and others like multiple times. But this one I saw. But it's funny because I then caught maybe like 25% of this movie on and off, bits and pieces, because they played this movie like 3 times in the 3 times in the 24-hour span, because they were literally playing Godzilla movies nonstop. So like Final Wars was on. Oh God, what other ones? There was some. I think Space Godzilla was on. Fuck, there was. No, like literally, like I just had them, even when I wasn't watching it necessarily, I just had it on mute and just had it playing in the background. It was really interesting. Just like seeing all these, newer Godzilla movies, because you and I we've reviewed Godzilla stuff, but we've only gone up to like Ebita, Horror of the Deep. So we haven't gone past that. But when watching this movie, that's the only time I've seen it. So watching this whole thing, I'm like, yeah, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Oh, that's good. Oh, no, but then the bad. Oh, no, then the bad. And oh, hey, it's Jurassic Park. Like it feels like they just smushed two ideas into one. Like, what if they were tiny like Jurassic Park because that sold well? But what if it was large like Godzilla because that's fucking Godzilla?
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they were just trying to think of other ways to make
to make it a threat,
like,
because you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So to me, it makes sense that that's another way to make it a threat. I just thought it makes Godzilla so much more sympathetic at the end, and then again, it makes it, I don't know, like again, like it's on the cusp of, did we make a mistake? And then it's like, no, we didn't. We're America.
The only mistake we made is not killing it harder.
Basically, it's just odd. That's the thing. Like, they're on the cusp of getting it, and then they don't.
Yeah. Swing and a miss.
Speaking of swing and a miss, I mean, maybe I didn't think it was that hard of a swing and a miss, but you did, I think. The harem line was really funny to me.
Oh my God.
I mean, again, though, it's a line no one would ever say. No, because, like, here's the thing. The general idea
any rational
is
person
funny.
would have looked at that and been like, either just walked away, like, you know what, I'll talk to them later. Or been like, yep, is everything okay?
No, like, there's a way to make that joke work without using the word harem.
Yeah.
Like,
there were
like,
plenty of lines in there that I was just like, why? Why was this the go-to?
Well, no, because I even though they were pregnancy tests and not condoms, I still would have went with, big night? Like, I still would have... Right,
yeah.
I still would have went for that joke. But, like, for some reason they went for harem, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's just something... And you know what sucks, too, by the way? This movie did so poorly that I feel like they looked at Matthew Broderick, Hank Azaria, and a bunch of other actors in this movie, and they were like, so never again, I guess. And I'm like, oh, no, it wasn't them. It was everything surrounding them.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't think it's her fault that she said the word harem. Like, I don't think she thought of the word, I should say harem. Like, it's not her fault. Oh, God, the scene actually just popped up. By the way, I would like to mention, during that scene, the funniest thing to me is the woman at the counter who was just like, I don't want to get involved in their fucking bullshit. Did you hear her voice when he was like, how much? She's like, $43.75.
Yeah, right.
Because they're just flirting with each other, and she's like, I just don't want to get involved in any of this.
Right.
And by the way, something else, too. Remember, again, earlier, like we just mentioned, earlier on in the movie, we're going to evacuate, right? Of course we're going to evacuate. Not evacuate. They did not evacuate. People are just walking around while the military is freaking the fuck out. Like, I would get if there were, like, some places need to stay open, but, like, everyone is still freaking out. The military is there. Godzilla has already run through the city, but, like, why are there still people around? Like, don't use the word evacuation unless you have the ability to actually get people off the streets. Granted, I'm sure a bunch of those people were extras just walking around, but still, like, why did you do that? I thought we were evacuating. Maybe I'm wrong here, and they didn't actually evacuate, but it sounded like they were like, no, we need to evacuate. We really, really, really need to.
Well, that was, like, I mean, shit, the mayor being like,
yeah,
but you can't prove that it's not dead or that it's still here. Mayor, like, why the fuck did it take so long for, like, the governor to get involved, too? Like, I feel like they were talking to the mayor so much. It's like, is he really in charge of basically anything in this situation? Like, why is the president not on the line right now?
Yeah, I agree. No, but let's be real. The president wasn't involved in the Godzilla 2014 movie either, right? Or am I wrong? Did they get a fake president?
No, they definitely... No, they had a phone call with him, though, when they were talking about using the nukes and, on the West Coast and getting all three in the blast zone. The commander was on the phone. He did say, Mr. President.
Got it. Thank you.
That was when they got, like, the go-ahead to do it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So
but that
yeah.
was also a thing here too. We didn't. It feels like this is the first time we've gone up against Godzilla with a military force and haven't automatically resorted to nukes.
I mean, that's the one smart thing. Thankfully, they understood, like, no, not Manhattan, also too close to water. In general, we're going to fuck up everything if we hit it with nukes. No, like, really. Like, you would not. Like, I know, even though it was odd that they were like, bomb Madison Square Garden, but still, it would really be bad if you used nukes there. Like, it would just be bad for everyone and everything. I know, like, if it's like, that's the final resort. Like, no, but really, though, like, if Manhattan gets hit with nukes, you better have evacuated Queens because my ass is done. You know?
You better have evacuated the entire eastern seaboard because...
Yeah, those fish, those fish are either dead or we've created more enemies. Did you know, Tristan? Did you know? This film is actually award-winning.
No.
It is. So, the woman who played the lead, this is her, right? Maria Patillo? Yes. So she's the one that played the love interest. She is actually the winner, and I swear to God, I'm not kidding here. Let me open this up. Yeah, she's the winner of Worst Supporting Actress in the 19th Golden Raspberry Awards. And also, TriStar Pictures won Worst Remake or Sequel.
I mean, that's fair.
Yes, and they were nominated. Sadly, they could not win this. They were nominated for Worst Picture. I don't know who they lost to, but they... Actually, I could see who they lost to. I'll check that a little bit later. Worst Director, Roland Emmerich. He was nominated. He did not win. And Worst Screenplay by Emmerich and Dean Devlin, nominated, did not win. However, this is interesting. At the 26th Saturn Awards, they actually won Best Special Effects.
Huh.
So, I mean, someone thought... Granted, remember that Suicide Squad also has an award. So, like, let's not... For, like, Best Makeup or something. So let's remember... I think it has an Oscar for Best Makeup. So, you know, use your appropriate hand-jerking-off motions if you need to. And so... let me see who else here.
I feel bad for her actress. Like, I don't think she deserves that. I just think the roles they were given were shit.
I mean, again, I think it's an issue of, I don't know her other work, but I do think it's an issue of if the writer and director were to be believed when they said, hey, we didn't have time for reshoots or even to, like, do a test screening.
Yeah, right.
I think other movies might also have situations where they would have looked this bad if they didn't get their reshoots and test screenings. Like, sometimes I will admit, I'll go, hey, why did you give that a test screening? I like that original ending or something like that. But maybe they did also fix other things in the films that we'll never know about, you know, because not every single movie has a director's cut or something like that. I mean, hell, even ones that have a director's cut, there's still so many shots that are left on the cutting room floor.
Right.
I mean, think about how on a small scale, and I mean a super-duper small scale, the shit that you and I film for YouTube, again, smallest scale I can think of, the shit that you and I film for YouTube, the shots that we don't use, think of that on such a large scale for every single movie in existence, and you have archives of fucking footage of shit not used. So what I'm trying to get at here is if they didn't have the ability for, you know, take after take after take after take, depending on where they filmed and stuff like that. Because I don't believe they filmed in New York. I'll actually check that a little bit later. What's the Bogey Awards? German Awards. Okay, that doesn't seem like it's a... All right. No, because they won a Bogey Award. I didn't know if it was like a Raspberry Award as well. By the way, you know that the Raspberry Awards are meant for bad movies, right?
I figured.
Yes. It started... Okay, so it started to recognize the worst movie industry had to offer, specifically in this case, 1998. So let me see who won the worst picture. I'm curious. Bruce Willis won the worst actor winner. Well, he is the worst actor winner. By the way, worst picture was won by Alan Smithee film Burn Hollywood Burn. So if you don't know, Alan Smithee is actually a a pseudonym for every single director who wants to take their name off of a movie, and it was used for so many years that at one point it got used so much Hollywood was like, we're banning that. Fuck you. Stop it. Yes. So, why did he win? Oh, he won Worst Actor in Armageddon.
Right.
Oh my God. No, he won. Oh my God. He won it in Armageddon, Mercury Rising, and The Siege.
Yeah.
He won it for 3 fucking movies in the same year. Jesus Christ.
Mm.
Oh my God. That's weird. Worst Actress is the Spice Girls and Spice World, but I was told that Worst Actress was that woman for Godzilla. That's weird. Huh. A lot of people like Spice Girls or the Spice World when they were a kid, so might have been bad, but people were like, nah. Little girls were like, nope, fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
I've heard that
supporting. We're supporting actress. That's the difference.
Right.
Okay. And then, let's see. I want to see if there's anything else that was nominated that you and I actually know. This is funny. Oh, God, Meet Joe Black was in the running for worst remake or sequel. You remember Meet Joe Black? You saw that scene. Oh, God. No, this is very interesting. I knew the Razzies existed. I just forgot that they've, I forgot how long they've been in existence.
Right.
So it's like, oh wow, this was it's a rat. Yo, if I ever was in the running for a Razzie winner, do you have any idea? I would go there myself. I would, because people usually don't accept the award in person. I would. I'd be like, is the bar open? Good. Anyway, so no, yeah, this movie is technically an award winner, and I hate how interested you were. Like, really? And it's like, yes, however, there is a caveat. There is always a caveat. So I mentioned to you much earlier about the idea that this is, of course, the lead love interest. She was supposed to be redeemed in some way. Now, I made a big stink. I said what I had said. But Tristan, I want to throw it over to you. Do you think she could be redeemed in any way after what she did throughout the movie?
Oh, the character?
Yeah.
Fuck no.
No, I'm not talking about the actress. I don't know this actress.
Yeah,
of course I'm talking about
I didn't think
character.
you were, but my brain was like, wait, no. Her character, no. Would have been like, look, I don't want you to get eaten, but like we're not talking after this. Like
I would have been so mad. I would have been like, do you have like a family member who's single who I could fall in love with to spite you? Because then we could talk. Maybe you can say something at the wedding.
My God.
It got me so mad. Because, look, my thing, too, is, like, even if you want to put aside the real-world implications of, like, being a whistleblower and being put in a federal prison, let's put all those away for a second, right? Let's take all those and let's put them on a note next to Chelsea Manning. So if that were going to, putting all that aside, let's pretend that doesn't actually happen. Why is this movie treating it like she just made a mistake? Like, she's always such a good person. This is the one mistake that she's made. Yes, but there's a difference between I made an oopsie daisy and dropped the groceries and, oh no, there were eggs in there and I've committed a felony.
And I may have ended a man's career.
Yes. Like, she just acted like, look, I'm sorry. And I'm like, I'm so confused. Like, he's literally like, the actual line should have been, hey, so where are you going? I'm actually going to a facility where they will be interrogating me for many hours, and they will call it advanced interrogation, but it will not be advanced, and it will hurt my chest. And she goes, are you leaving because of me? Are you leaving because of me? In a roundabout way, yes, but don't worry, I'll be giving you up, and hopefully they'll let me go with maybe 5 years, most.
My God.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I just want you to know I'm sorry. Tell it to the judge, and that's not figurative.
Right. And then the other two that she was staying with, the other woman, she's like, "Oh, she's in a room. You made her cry because, you told her to do that terrible thing." He's like, "I didn't tell her to steal federal tapes from him." Jesus.
I love it. You told her to be more assertive. No, you told her to be more assertive, and now she's crying in the room. All right, you didn't tell her to like the cops or anything, right? Because honestly, I'm getting out of town. Fuck this. Fuck you. Fuck
I did not
this.
tell her to commit a fucking felony.
Let's take back I put that up, the pin, the whistleblower pin. Let's pull that down for a second. This is not a situation where if she had informed the public, they would know seemingly more than they should. Because here's the thing. You saw it on TV already. If people wanted to leave New York, they would have gotten the fuck out.
Right. Yeah, it's like, the monster is already here. And New York knows about it.
No, because if it was still coming, I would go, honestly, she has to do what she has to do. She's a journalist.
Oh,
if it was coming.
Right, exactly. And
so
they were
I
no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It won't go to Manhattan. Sir, it's clearly en route to Manhattan. Shut the fuck up, Johnson.
Then I'd be like, we can't let this stand. And I'd actually be on her side. Fuck, I wouldn't even want it to be a romance subplot. I'd be like, no, she had to do what she had to do. Sorry, dude, but she had to.
Right.
But this is not that situation at all. Like, this is literally it being like, well, this is already in Manhattan, but I can get a scoop on it. Like, people know that it exists, not in the same way that people would know now with social media, but people know that it exists, but I could get the scoop. And it's just like, no, that's not – to me it comes off as like one of those situations where someone said – she even said it, oh, my God, I can't believe she pulled this bullshit. You didn't say off the record.
Right.
Because technically if you don't say that something is off the record, it could be – like a journalist would be like, you didn't say it's off the record, so you just told me that governor committed tax fraud. You just said that out loud. I didn't say off the record. You did not, sir. You did not say off the record. But oh my God, he's talking to his ex-girlfriend of 4 years.
Right. Granted, what I find most hilarious about that whole scenario is that she was allowed to come back with him to the military operation base and be inside the tent where he's working on it. That should have
actually been his contention. You're out of here. You know the only ID that she had was her journalist one, right?
They
as a journalist.
To get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, that's also hilarious when they drive back in, when he's with the French spies and they drive back in. It's like, we're here because the colonel sent for us. Where's your fucking passcode? Or like, where's your ID, soldier?
That's one.
There's no fucking way they would have let them back in.
Thank you for, you know what, I wasn't thinking of that. Thank you. Because again, the joke threw me off. Maybe that's why the joke was there. But thank you for that. Yeah. You know what I was also curious about? Even though I love Hank Azaria's character, I really do, but the fact that he didn't get 2 slugs in the head from a fucking French spy, how the fuck does a French spy let himself get tailed? Like, what, was he too busy looking at the other side of the street to realize that on the fucking left side there was a fucking person tailing him? Oh, what does he never drive on that side of the street? Is that the problem? Like, what the fuck? Like, it was pissing me off so much that, like, his character could just follow him just fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Although, I have to say, I really liked the line, the joke. It was really good. Why do you guys chew, like, all that gum? Makes us look more American. I was like, that's...
Oh, my God.
No, they did, though. They did. Like, even though it was a comically large size in the car where, like, the dude literally had just a wad and it was like, all right, that's too much. But in general, though, when they chewed it in unison in the car, like, before they actually started rolling out, I was like, you know what? You're right. You do look more American just chewing the gum. But, yeah. So it was just very frustrating. to see, him just being able to be tailed like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Tristan, how do you feel? Before I say how I feel, how do you feel about the wife I think it's his wife, Hank Azaria's character?
Yeah.
Because she was at first very much like, I'm trying to think of the right word, aggressive. I was like, and I'm not saying I didn't like that, but I'm just saying like she was very much like, you got to get your hands dirty sometimes, kill a guy, whatever, gotta do what you got to do.
Right.
Like at first I was like, whoa.
At first it's like, all right, I'm on board. I mean, what?
Well,
no.
no. At first I was confused. And then when it's like, what are all these people doing in our house? She's like, I couldn't let them be on the street. I was like, I love you.
Right.
No, she just seemed like, at that point, I'm like, she seems like a really nice Italian woman. Like,
yeah,
she's like,
or
hey,
even
like,
talking when they're coming back and she sees her husband went with them in Madison Square Garden. She's like, that's my husband! That's my husband! Oh my God, I'm going to kill him! And she's just clapping.
No, like, I have an Italian stepmother, and that's her 100%. I was like, yes, that makes sense, yes. No, it was just really funny. Like, it just, I don't know, like, because at first I was like, wow, like, pretty, because even though she, in a way it's kind of funny because, like, you have Azaria's character saying stuff and then she, like, hits him. Like, don't be a jerk, like hits him and stuff. But when it comes to, like, opening her home to strangers, like, on the street, it was just so nice that she was just, like, ready and willing to do that.
Yeah, no, that was actually, really cool of her. It's like, there are thousands of people who are left stranded, homeless, and injured when Godzilla is basically running around through the streets and through buildings. Like, not just around them or under them. No, he's going literally through them.
But, again, I also need to ask, what the fuck is going on with this evacuation attempt? Because I thought we were attempting an evacuation. I mean, like you said, the mayor earlier was like...
But then the mayor said
it
was fine. So, we came back.
I guess.
Why would you do that? I don't know.
It's weird, man. This whole movie is just weird. It doesn't compute. Error. Yeah. Just a lot of computing issues.
I feel like the mayor was like, all right, I'll order the evacuation. Then came back, sir, I don't think you ordered the evacuation. No, of course I'm not going to do that. They don't know if it's actually here. But, sir, my God.
My God, sir. My God. Yeah. Well, it's like one of those...
the one thing.
What?
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it's like one of those, like the memes with, like, the dude who's just thinking hard, like, tapping his head, where it's just like, but, sir, they're going to vote against you. Not if they're dead.
God. I was just thinking of, at the end, when his advisor is just like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
No, wait, come back. I need you.
It was interesting because apparently Roger Ebert came out and said that he had a feeling that those two characters were based on him and his co-host at the time.
My God.
No, because one of them was named Ebert and the other one was named Gene.
Yeah.
And so he was surmising that the idea is, we actually gave another TriStar Picture movie a really bad review. And now all of a sudden these two comedic relief characters are just there
holy shit.
With our names. And I was like, that's interesting. It's like in that Shyamalan movie where the critic got eaten by a wolf.
Right.
Which I have to say is really, in a way that part, out of all of Lady in the Water, that one part was very true to the lives of film critics. The amount of friends that I've lost in New York to wolves attack, just critics getting attacked by wolves. I mean, it's just, some of you guys might not know if you're not in New York, but critics getting attacked by wolves in Manhattan, it's a big thing.
You wouldn't think so.
It does not. It does.
Damn.
It does not. It does not. That's sarcasm. Don't. Someone's gonna Google it. That's not a thing. It's not.
You're right.
It really is.
You're right. Sorry. Sorry, that was just a little fun. It's actually lizards. The lizard problem
giant,
is terrifying.
It's giant
Absolutely
lizards.
terrifying.
Yes. Just giant lizards. So, okay, by the way, speaking of lizards of all sizes, the scene in the beginning, was that like the one where like it was all, it was sepia, it was supposed to be as if it was actually done in the 50s. Was that as dumb to you as it was to me? Because to me...
Oh, the opening with like the film reels and everything?
Yes. Pretty dumb.
Funny, I kind of like that, and then I listened to like the dramatic opening music, and just the iguanas like looking up and like tilting their head and just wide-eyed, and then you see the pictures of the explosions. I was just like, that's actually, I can't not laugh at this right now.
That's the problem.
The iguanas like, you motherfuckers. Shockwave.
Because here's the thing. For me, when I see that type of footage, just like how we saw it in, I think it was both in King Kong, but I know that it was in the Godzilla 2014 version as well. Footage like that is supposed to make you think that it is actually being filmed by a human being. So when you have a human being filming the explosion, that makes sense. Who the fuck wasted that expensive fucking nitrate-filled footage on iguanas? Who the fuck was like, Jerry, we gotta get a shot of the iguanas. How long have you been out here, Tom? Holy shit, we gotta get him back. He's losing it. Tom's losing it.
Okay, you're right. Like, I didn't think of it that way. I thought, like, it was just the effect to make it look like, oh, this happened a while ago. But no, you're right. That's fucking hilarious.
Well, no.
That
they could
honestly
not...
just makes it funnier for me.
Jerry, the iguanas! Look at him, Jerry! Look at him!
Like, that is my headcanon. That's what happened.
Oh, God. No, so that's my... Look, I'm sure you're right. The idea was they just put some effects over it to make it look like it was filmed a long, long time ago. I don't know when it was filmed. It was filmed a long, long time ago.
And kind of
doing the testing.
Mixed it in with the idea of like, oh, the audience knows what happened, but little does Manhattan know what's coming for it.
Yeah. Yes, but it was just so silly that the iguanas are there.
Right.
And being filmed.
I would have loved it. Yeah. Like, I would love it if somebody goes back over that and just puts subtitles for the iguanas. Like, hey Jim, do you see that over there? Yes, Jerry, it's fucking bright as the sun. Shouldn't we be more worried about that? No, it's just annoying. It's just a light. It'll go away in about 5 seconds. Is that rumbling I hear? Oh, no.
Jerry just gets him. So my question is, here's the thing too. Like, I think it would have been interesting for the film to explore. Are there more Godzillas? I mean, also, like, is that the only one that was made?
Yeah,
and apparently,
I feel like they kind of made it seem like that one egg was the one that survived, and like everything else was killed.
No. At the end of the movie, I'm talking about the fact that if this is started because iguanas were hit with radiation and they became... No,
I know at the beginning too. Like they kind of zoom in on those patch of eggs, but it looks like they're cracked or like destroyed a little bit. I think, and then the one in the middle is like it's still intact, and the fallout's like raining over it.
Yes. Also, if this was so, here's another thing too that I think is really dumb. The reason why 2014 Godzilla worked very well, because in my opinion it makes sense to be able to be like, hey, remember when we were doing tests? Oh yeah, I mean, it's crazy that we tried to test out those bombs to make a bigger one, and then what that did. Yeah, they weren't tests. What? We were trying to kill something. What? Oh no, it was really bad. So in comparing that all those times, both to it happening to King Kong and I believe it happening to Godzilla as well, them trying to quote-unquote test, but really it's not a test. In this case, it was like, oh, yeah, we tested and we created this, but you tested those bombs a very long time ago. What the fuck has this Godzilla been doing?
Yeah.
Because they tested it like what 40 years ago, like compared to this.
Yeah.
Like this is 98. So like, how long what's going on? Where has this Godzilla been? Just been sleeping in the water?
Yeah, I guess it's been developing big. Yeah, no, that is a big hole that Again, this movie makes you not think about it to the point of when you do think about it, it's bad for it.
Yeah, because again, at least
I never really thought of that either.
Because at least with Godzilla 2014 and King Kong, they're trying to have this idea of, King Kong only needs to stay on the island. Oh, Godzilla, it's been asleep. We're the idiots that wake this shit up.
Or that, they've had, like, other people have had sightings of it before, too, but, like, the government kind of covers them up because they're small things.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can make this, it's fine. It's fine. It's
pre-social media. Like, you're good.
Right.
Well, no, I mean...
No,
I'm being serious.
I get you.
Like, nowadays, anything like this pops up, you would know.
Yeah.
It would be on Facebook. People might be shitting on it and calling it fake, but people would know. People would see it online a little bit. Like, dude, like, nothing goes away from the internet. Nothing.
Right.
Like, if 100 people have seen something and one of them screenshots it, it'll exist forever.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't get away with, crazy government cover-ups like you used to. Just a government official, if only things were the way they used to be.
Yeah, right.
But seriously, like, you can't look at Godzilla, either this 1998 version or 2014, and if something like that happened in New York in either decade, you'd be like, how are we going to cover this one up? No. Unless, even if you're starting to threaten people's families and you bust down doors, one person's going to be like, I don't have any family, and I'm suicidal. I'm going to go to the news. You're fucked. Like, there's like one person who they'd be like, God damn it, we are fucked. Like, damn it, we can't reason with this person. But you can't. But I'm sure we're trying to say, like, I'm trying to say anyway. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, you can finesse a little bit here and there. You can do a little something. Like, who's gonna believe you? And there's no pictures, there's no videos. What do you think? No, right? There's no tapes. Maybe you just don't talk about it. Your family lives. I don't know. But in this but still, like, looking at this movie, it's like, for more than 40 years, nobody saw Godzilla, and nobody is even nobody in the army is gonna talk about it. Like, just what is this creature? Yeah. What has it been doing? And why does it suddenly have the need to give birth? Is it at the end of its life anyway? So it now needs to... Because I don't know jack shit about iguanas or lizards. So, like, I don't know their migration patterns or how they breed or how they give birth.
No,
I know nothing.
I mean, I'm not up to date on my iguana facts either, but I'm pretty sure... Like, just thinking generally about, like, birth rates and with different animals... Yeah, no, it wouldn't take 40 years for a reptile to be like, I need to have children. No.
How long would it take? Because I'm wondering if we could, I'm not even kidding, I'm being serious, multiply that by how fucking large it is.
I guess, it might, like, a few years, tops.
Oh, okay.
Like, I guess it would depend on, like, that's the thing, like, how long it would take Zilla to reach the point in its life cycle to do that. So, like, I don't know, but it's weird. It also made me think, like, oh, is this because it's irradiated? Does that mean its growth, is accelerated, or is it the fact that it's like, no, it's just its growth has gone outside of its normal window?
I think
like,
outside of its normal window.
Did it take just as long for it to get that big as it would a regular iguana to get, like, adult-sized, and that's why it hasn't been around? Or
I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah. That's the issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying they could explain all that away necessarily, but it just sucks because I don't want to seem like we're nitpicking at this point. It's just that there's a lot of stuff that's just makes you scratch your head if you think about it for like 5 minutes while watching. You're like, wait a minute. Wait. Like, at least good movies or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say good, entertaining movies have the ability to suck you in so much that it's like, oh, I forgot to think about that stuff, which can happen to me. And I think can happen to other people too, where if a movie is entertaining enough, you might forget to be like, wait a minute, but how could this? But how could this? But I think this movie was just so painfully average to bad in so many aspects that it starts to open the door for us to be like, wait a minute, hold on, what about this? But why this? Why did they do that? Good God, why? Please stop. Over and over. Because, the one thing that I'll say about Kong Skull Island is that when they had someone who seemed to be like a tracker and someone who's an expert in his field, boy, howdy, did they really want you to make to think that he's an expert in his field. I don't think they did anything to take Tom Hiddleston's character and be like, nah, let's just make him seem like he doesn't know shit. He's discovering it with the audience.
Right.
Or, oh, he's going to get tailed. It's like, no, Hiddleston knows his shit. He's not going to get tailed. He'll have a scene where, I don't remember if this actually happened, but he would have a scene where he'd be walking and he'd be like, hey, don't move any differently than you are right now, but we're being watched. He would say, he wouldn't just be like, oh, no, I was tailed by you, an American-Italian man? Oh, no. How could I have known? You could have fucking heard the crunches of the fucking, the grass and the fucking, that's the thing. It just seems like they want us to believe that these people are either experts or, super secret ninja spies and stuff. And we're just looking at this and we're like, this is bad. This movie made me sit back and go, I feel like I could do this better. And I know I can't, but that's just how bad some of the roles are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you feel with the sudden twist to Jurassic Park? As a fan of Jurassic Park, did you like it?
I mean, it's funny. I liked it because I liked it when it was Jurassic Park. So,
but
as a kid, I thought it was fun. Having the baby Godzillas chase after them in Madison Square Garden, and them bigger Zilla chasing them around in the cab chase.
No, I know you like the cab.
I mean, as compared to the rest of the movie, it was still fun. All
right, that's fair. I like that there was more Godzilla in this than there was in Godzilla 2014. I don't know why it had to be this Godzilla, but it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers. But yeah, I will say though, I do like how some of the shots were done, especially on the ships, either the Navy submarine or even the other two ships where they were in the actual, they were in the actual boat. I say ship, but I really mean boat. They were in the boat, and they're like, what the fuck? And they get out, and they're like, what's going on over there? I don't know, but what's going on over there? Just them shouting at each other. Because I looked at those
fishing boats, or?
Yeah, the fishing boats, yes, out at sea.
Yeah.
I looked at those scenes.
Oh, yeah. No, those scenes were cool, too.
Because to
even
me,
when Zilla was evading the submarines, too, and he, cuts through it with the fin spikes. That was pretty cool, too.
Because for me, I don't have a problem with those scenes simply due to the fact that with you and I, Tristan, with our, kaiju tokusatsu roots, watching the stuff that we've watched, I don't have a problem with that stuff. In fact, like I said earlier, I would have potentially liked if they went with practical effects or even animatronics of some type.
Yeah.
It might have been better.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not saying I hated the CG, maybe would have saved money a little bit. Yeah. And they could have put it to other things.
I did like the effect when the teeth came through the side of the ship and stuff, and the claws go through it. Scenes like that were pretty cool. Or when Zilla jumps through a skyscraper and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's funny, say whatever you, not you personally, but anybody, you can say what you want about the CG, but I thought the action sequences were still pretty cool.
Yes. No, that's why I can't say that this movie is again, I don't think it lived up to the hype that people put it at. I'm confused about one thing, though. So again, this is the whole jumping themes thing, because I don't know if they knew what they wanted to do. why did the little baby Zillas want to eat the people? They aren't fish. They're not even made up of fish. Did they eat tuna the same day? I don't know. But it seemed as if when you have because the thing is, when you look at Big Zilla, right? When you look at Godzilla, and you see that he is like, hey, I am trying to feed my children, so I'm trying to get a lot of fish products to feed my children. Why were the children like, oh, I'm going to eat the fuck out of you? To people.
Right. I mean, I guess like they were saying that they smelled like fish too, so the babies are like, "Ooh, more food." That and they're wandering around the nest, like the kids are still getting used to their surroundings.
I mean, I just feel like we should have had one of them jump on Broderick and just like nuzzle his face. Like they just want to play. Granted, their version of playing could also mean that they, skewer you by accident, like a dog would,
basically,
or a cat.
Yeah.
But the point is that and Tristan knows one thing or two about a cat skewering him on accident, but by accident.
Yeah.
But still, the point is that like I can see how their play could be a little bit rough. Still, like I don't know, like I've been saying over and over a bit here and there. It just seemed like the theme they were jumping around between this is hell on earth versus they're just trying to eat. Like, look,
right.
Because here's the thing, right? So when I watch a movie like Jaws, right, for me, Jaws was different because they tried to say, oh, this isn't like, oh, it's a shark that thinks that you're a dolphin or a seal. It's like, oh,
right.
no. This is a shark who says, I know what you are, and I want you dead. I'm not hungry.
Right.
I'm out for blood. That's Jaws to me,
right.
if I remember it correctly, right? Like, Jaws was played up to just be like an evil, smart shark.
Right.
Not, he's just an animal. He doesn't know any better. And we're on his turf. It's like, no, I feel like if Jaws had legs, it would basically be fucking Gyo. Do you remember that graphic novel Gyo? It was written by, oh God, how could I forget his name? You know what I'm thinking of, right? Or no? The one where the fish come to life on land, like zombie fish. There was a meme going around about it.
I might have seen it, but I'm not
Ito.
too familiar.
I love Junji Ito.
Same.
Yeah, I love Junji Ito's work. I can't believe I forgot about it. It was the meme about Space Jam, where the sound effects were, come on and slam, and welcome to the jam.
My God.
I think I sent that to you. Either way, Gyo is a really fascinating, creepy graphic novel, and by the mind of Junji Ito, who draws and writes his own stuff, and it's just, God, his work is so creepy. I love it. So, but still, if Jaws had legs, it would be like something from Gyo, is my point. It's just, it would be out for blood. Versus Godzilla in this movie, where they made it seem like he was just an animal protecting his nest. So let's burn it to the ground. Oh, something completely in the opposite direction. Now let's talk about love.
Humanity can only destroy.
Or talk about creation, i.e. boning. Speaking
about love, humanity can only destroy. No.
I'm just confused.
Sorry, I had to.
No, it's fine. I'm just confused. The redhead, who is a scientist, why could she not have gotten with Matthew Broderick? I know she was. Yes, they started her off by making a joke that Broderick was a little off-put by his character, and I get it, but she seemed nice. Like, if we had it, like, look, I know that Tristan doesn't like will they, won't they stuff, despite the fact that you've watched, 10 seasons of Friends, Tristan? Still.
All right.
I know you're not.
Look. Listen here.
You little shit. I'm just saying, though, Tristan, I know you're not a fan of will they, won't they stuff, but why could they not have gotten together when she seems like a pretty chill person who believes in Matthew Broderick's character and is actually upset when he's kicked off the project? And somehow that kicks him into the arms of a woman who is terrible. And I don't mean for him. just terrible.
Right.
I'll say this much. If she's changed for the better in 8 years, what the fuck was she doing 8 years ago? Joining ISIS? What the fuck is going on? Jesus
Right.
Christ. I mean, if she's saying I've changed for the better and I've grown up and she's committing felonies, what the fuck was she doing 8 years ago? We need to know. We need to have that movie.
Right. Yeah, so about the other character, it's funny because she's like, oh, head paleontologist, she's your boss here. Because I guess when they saw the footprints, it's like, well, let's see if we can identify this thing. But the hilarious part for me, granted they were studying an unknown creature in a military zone trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. But just being out of characters, I've never, and I mean you would, anywhere you wouldn't, imagine walking into your workplace and having someone just look at you and be like, I don't think you're right for this job, but I think you're cute. It's like, excuse me?
I have to admit, if someone said that at my job, I'd be like, 1, don't talk to me like that, and 2, I get off at 5, talk to me like that then.
My God. Because, all I can think about is, being on a dig, you're just covered in dirt and sweat.
Well, he just showed up.
Non-stop, 24/7. I know.
He just showed up.
But, that is the last thing on your mind.
Let her talk to him on day 5 when the radiation has caused him to grow 10 feet tall.
There you go.
Grow 10 feet taller.
That's the true love story.
Yes. Well, no, the true love story is again the one 8 years ago. He's someone who looks up radiated worms. She commits felonies on a level that the U.S. government is very upset at.
Can't even list in this report.
Can't even, yeah. Oh, my God. He's worm guy. She's technically a terrorist? Question mark?
New
seriously.
hit sitcom coming this fall.
No. I'm just saying that, I cannot believe that they just swept everything she did under the rug like it was normal. And we're just supposed to be like, they love each other. What? Also, can I say that as well, too? No chemistry. No chemistry.
Yeah.
This is science guy over here, and he would have had more chemistry with an actual chemistry kit. No chemistry. Nothing.
Damn.
Nada. I'm sorry. But I'm not saying I hate them, but there are just some actors that and actresses in general where they're in a movie together. They're not even, there's no love scenes or anything, but they're supposed to be romantic in some way, and you're like, I don't see it. I just don't see it. So I don't know, the redheaded woman on the dig. Yes, at first you're right. When she said that, it was like, excuse me. But after a while, it was just I don't know, just seeing her character throughout the movie. She was like, no, I actually really am upset that he was kicked off this. This meant a lot to him. And I'm like, how are you more supportive than his freaking ex, who you know they're gonna get together by the end of the movie, and then they did. Why?
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying, does not make sense.
Nope.
Anyway, so as we're wrapping this up, anything you have to say before we wrap this up?
It's funny. I'm trying to weigh my options of, do I actually have something else that I wanted to point out versus I really don't want to think about this movie anymore.
My options are, do I have a salient point, or do I make another shitty joke?
Yeah, but being serious, I think I've hit everything that I wanted to.
Yeah, it's a movie that if anyone, I will say this is a movie that if someone said to me, I like schlocky B-horror goodness, I'd go, maybe you'd slightly appreciate this. Because, again, I don't even think it tries hard enough or is not – there's something about it that just doesn't even work in the, oh, it's a so bad it's good thing. Like, this is not The Room.
Yeah. No, it's just mediocre.
Yeah, that's the issue, is that, and if anyone said to me, should I watch this, I would like to see Godzilla movies, I'd say no. Do not.
Oh, yeah, no.
Do not do that. Even if they were like, but I've seen all,
way better.
yeah, but I've seen all the other ones. Oh, then check it out, but have your expectations set very low.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, but I would never tell someone, like if someone was like, oh, I would like to watch some more Godzilla movies, I'd be like, have you seen all the American ones? Yeah, except for the 98 one. You're good. Don't. Just go back to the Japanese side of things, see what's going on there.
It's like, honestly, if you really want to, okay. If you don't feel the absolute need, don't worry about it.
This is a good movie to watch while drinking with friends, while you all understand what you're getting yourselves into.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, no, like just get a couple of us together, have some drinks, we'll have a great time. Maybe, not necessarily do like a recording or anything, just generally messing around, just chilling out. It would be great. But I just think that this movie, you know what it is? Maybe I'm just giving people too much credit, but I just think this movie is just a film that, if you, like I said earlier about thinking about it for a few seconds, it's just a film where unless the entertainment value, like the action scenes, unless that really does it for you, which if it does, and that just completes it for you 100%, bless your heart, I'm happy that it does that for you. But I think that everyone watching this movie is smarter than this movie in at least one thing. And once you pull that one thread or pull that one Jenga piece out, the rest of the tower crumbles.
Right.
And I say that only because, look, I'm not saying that, again, like, I'm not someone who's extremely smart in pretty much anything that's being studied in this movie. But all I have to hear is radiation, and I'm like, that's odd. Right?
Right.
And then I hear, oh, it's an animal, so we're supposed to be, so we can't hurt it. Or at least the idea is like, it's not trying to hurt us. And I'm supposed to be like, what you going to do? Kill it with fire. Like, I don't know. Like, it just, because it seemed like they were trying to go for like this, like Godzilla, not Godzilla, it's King Kong type thing, where it's like not Beauty killed the Beast, but the idea of like, it is just an animal that we have caged. We are terrible for doing this. After all, in this case anyway, we had created it.
We create life, and we take it away.
It's like, ooh, Jesus. Because that's the thing, there seemed like there was no message at the end. Because if, like, at the end, you had Broderick being like, we shouldn't be celebrating. This is not a day to be happy. I'd be like, ooh, interesting.
Right.
Go on. Right? But
and then he walks around and it's like, well, I got my girlfriend back, so I guess I'll take what I can get.
No, but he didn't. But no, but he did that. But I'm saying if he actually, because he had that look on his face, like, oh God, like I feel bad for it. But he didn't actually go on like I don't know, like I feel like it wouldn't have been too preachy if he just went on a kind of monologue at the end there about like, really, we're celebrating? This thing is dead. Like we killed this thing. And it didn't even know where it was and what it was doing. And I don't know, maybe some people thought it would be like,
yeah, you should listen to Dr. Tata Papopoulos. It's Tatopoulos.
I don't know.
I swear to God, if they said that line one more fucking time.
Yeah, I checked out after like the first two. The first one, I checked out.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm just saying that maybe it would have been too preachy. I don't know. But it seemed like they were leading us in a direction that we dropped and did not give a fuck about. Even the guy who made the point. You would think he would be at least the one to be like, I'm not too happy about what we did. We had to do it, but I'm not happy.
Right. No, they did it very half-assedly.
Yeah. So that's the way this movie feels in many respects. Yeah. No, it's rough, man. I mean, honestly, I hope that their relationship, like, fizzled within, like, a year. Like, once the emotional roller coaster of, we survived this, left, I hope that they were like, right, there's a reason why you left. And there's a reason why I was kind of okay with By the way, another thing, too, apparently she left 8 years ago. I know that dating for 4 years is a long time, but apparently she left 8 years ago, and he still has the pictures in his makeshift tent? Fucking weird. You know what? I'm sorry. Could we point him out for a second? Fucking weird. I feel bad. We've been shitting on her character, and we have to shit on his for like a second. That was 8 years ago. Like, believe me. Look, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out too. Like, I talk to some of my exes, not all, but I talk to some of my exes. Like, I'm not saying he has to hold on to grudges and like hate her,
Right.
but literally, it's like you never gave me a call. We haven't talked in like 8 years, but you do have all my pictures in our pictures rather in the tent.
Right.
And he's just like, yeah, I do, because that's normal. Of course, it's normal.
Because
like,
I didn't have anything else to hang up in here. They kind of moved all my shit. It's like, oh, well, it's like I have more back at my actual place. Oh, God.
It's just,
I didn't
honestly,
have time
Tristan,
to set up the rest of them and the diorama.
Oh, my God, the diorama. Look, I'm just saying this. I don't know if – the one thing I don't know if people picked up on, especially you and I as children at the time, but the one thing I'll say that this did too is that this really, and I mean really, pushed bullshit romantic stereotypes to a max. And when I say stereotypes to a max, I'm not talking about the tropes that I mentioned earlier. I mean that when I say bullshit, I'm referring to the idea that it has been 8 years and he still has pictures of her. She should have called the police, and reverse the fact that she did that to him. Like, this is not a normal couple, and I know they're in an abnormal situation, but even then, this is not. And someone will I'm sure someone will say to me, or someone will think, but what is a normal relationship? And I hear you, right? There's all these different kinds of complications with relationship. Your normal is your normal, right? But what the fuck is going on with these two?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I just can't wrap my mind around these two at all. It's like 8 years. Yes, they were together for 4 years, but 8 years. Even if you say, oh, I can't get over her, why are you bringing the pictures around?
Yeah, that's not helping.
No. And that's one thing. And then, two, again, on her side, it's like, yeah, one day I decided I didn't want to get married to you after 4 years, so I left you without even a call, without no text, of course, but without an email, without a fucking letter, just left. And then she does this in the movie, and we're supposed to just be like, oh, of course, they've clearly shown that they love each other. No. This is just weird. Like, this is, like, I don't want to say the word abusive necessarily, but this is just this doesn't work as a relationship. And we're supposed to, because again, remember, Tristan, you and I saw this as kids. So we see this, and I don't know what you thought as a kid. I don't remember what I thought about the relationship as a kid. But we see this, and we're supposed to be like, the things that they did in the movie led them to love each other. No.
Yeah.
Nope. Weird all around. I can't even believe I gave Broderick's character a pass. Probably because I couldn't pronounce his name. So I was like, you know what, fine, he's good. Whatever. So no, it's weird. How funny is it? Despite everything with the supporting characters of, Azaria's character and his wife, despite everything that when I first saw them, I was like, you guys got issues when I first saw them.
Right.
Now I'm like, kind of the most competent and good, best couple of the movie. Right. I mean, look at everyone in the movie. Stand up if you didn't commit a felony. Also stand up if you don't still have pictures of your ex-girlfriend from 8 years ago that you carry around with you everywhere you go. Like, fucking those two are the best characters in this movie.
Yeah, I feel like the friends probably would have been like she says, oh, yeah, he still had my pictures in his tent. They would have been like, wait, what?
Dump them. Let them go.
You said, you two forgot about each other. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, right? I guess he didn't forget about me as much as he thought. Did he know you were going to be here? Oh, he couldn't have known. Look, I'm just saying, I know a guy who knows a guy. He's a PI. Just let him tell you. Let him tell him. Maybe we'll see if he doesn't know what he says he doesn't know. Okay? Like, I'm just saying, like, it was weird. Oh, did I mention how much I love Hank Azaria. Did I tell you that he voiced characters on The Simpsons?
Yes, yeah, you did.
Did I tell you, like, who specifically? Like, he voices Moe and Barney, I believe.
Oh, my God.
No, like, he does amazing voices for The Simpsons. And the guy who played the reporter, the one who was a creep who, let's take that pin off. I said we were going to talk about him later. The fucking creep who, I was happy he was in the movie for one reason and one reason only. We need to make sure, and I say we as, I don't know who the fuck is we. I guess we as a society. When there's movies out, right, and they have a bad guy like him, we can't sit there and be like, that's bad behavior, so we can't show it. It's like, no, that's bad behavior, so we need to call it out, and it's good to call it out in a movie or in a TV show or something like that. So me, as an adult, thinking like, oh, I saw that character as a kid, and he was being so weird and creepy, that's good, because I learned that's not good behavior. You don't do that shit in the workplace. Weird that it fucking took so many years for people to finally talk about that shit in the media, where it's like, it's in a movie. People saw the movie.
Right.
It's funny though, because this movie somehow does good things. Like, it showcases people from a bunch of different cultures, even if some of the representation, I'm like, I don't know about that. Right? Like, I'm like, I don't know about the French guy wanting everything that's quote unquote French. But still, they had a lot of Japanese people in the film. Well, actually, I shouldn't say Japanese because I don't know if they were all Japanese, but they spoke Japanese.
Right.
I'll say that much. No, like, they did some things right. Weirdly.
Yeah.
Like, having multiple different cultures in the movie. Granted, I don't know why they, like we said with the Godzilla 2014 movie, makes sense to go to California. Why would they go to New York? Especially when it's like a Japanese legend. It was potentially coming from Japan, and it went to New York. Yes, pretty long trek. But anyway, so they do that right, and then they call out this macho culture, which again I think they did right. But somehow they just fuck it up. I guess they fuck it up because, like, her version of getting comeuppance is, I quit. It's just so funny. It's like, with the shit he said to you, I'm pretty sure you should talk to somebody about it.
Right. There's a lawsuit in there.
Yeah, somewhere. But although, to be fair, it's funny. It's actually really funny. If it's like, did she steal? They question, the government questions the both of them. Did she steal the tape? No, it was that guy. See, he's the one who was on camera with it. He stole the tape.
Honestly, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been great.
It on him, and he goes to federal prison. That would have been fucking hilarious.
That, honestly, if that was the end of the movie, I'd be like, all right, that's fair. I think that's fair.
Oh,
I don't think it would stick, but that's fair.
Thing that was actually just, it would have been second away, but like,
But it would have been fair.
The one thing that just smacked me across the face, how, like, thinking of Zilla, it's like, oh, why would you go to Manhattan? It's like, oh, well, it burrows through the tunnels, and it's an island, and of course it would think it's an appropriate place to nest.
Right.
It's like the iguanas that you saw in the beginning of the film are land iguanas. This is obviously, like, it's based off a marine iguana, which was not shown at all.
Thank you.
Which basically, although I'm kind of happy they didn't, because they're, like, I'm assuming they probably had iguanas that they just bought and used for the film, which wouldn't be better either, but, like, No, it might be best to put them on land instead of trying to film them in the sea or something, or try to, like, make a CGI version of a sea iguana. But thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to make that joke, but I didn't know shit, so I didn't know if that was appropriate. Yeah. But thank you for making that reference / joke. And it's like, like, neither iguana would have, like, they burrow in subterranean tunnels and lay their nest. It's like, no, No, but whatever.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to wrap this one up. But again, thank you so much, Tristan. If you guys want to know all of our different social media accounts and how to follow us, I'll just mention one, @ThoseGuysRadio. Everything else you can find in the description box down below, wherever you're watching this, either on our YouTube, Those Guys on the Radio, or in our Blog Talk Radio account, blogtalkradio.com/ThoseGuysOnTheRadio, or even I would believe if you search Those Guys up on iTunes and find our podcast there, you should find all those links in some type of description box. So again, thank you all so much. Love you all. Take care. And tune in next time for another episode of Friday Night Movies or something completely different. I don't know. We'll find out next time. So say good night, Tristan.
My God, I'm speechless.
Good night.